We are knocking on doors looking for voters in this East Gilbert neighborhood.
Did you or any of your neighbors receive one of these?
Where there seems to be a lot of confusion.
This, I don't know what it's about.
Fred Tehran is referring to a mail piece just like this one that showed his voting history as well as the voting histories of his neighbors, although the names and addresses have been redacted.
Does it bother you that people are disseminating your neighbors' voting information, other people's voting information?
Yeah, that bothers me. Yes, it does.
The Washington, D.C.-based Voter Participation Center is behind the mail piece. According to their tax records, they are a nonpartisan charity focused on driving up voter turnout. A representative from the group says listing the voting histories is just one way to motivate voters. But it only served to confuse voters like Tehran.
And I even told my wife, I said, we voted. And this thing is saying that we didn't vote.
Now, the Voter Participation Center, they've sent out 1.6 million mail pieces to Arizona voters this year, according to a statement from their president. The organization, one mission is to encourage people to vote. And again, these letters tell you about the voting histories of you and your neighbors, but it does not reveal names or addresses.
Oh, okay.
That gets a little dicey, though. Yeah, people out of their comfort zone. So talk about this blue wave. What's happening here?
So yeah, as you were saying, we are just days away from this historic election. A lot of talk about the blue wave. Well, there appears to be evidence that the water is rising for Democrats in this election. Typical midterm election, Republicans return mail ballots more than Democrats by about 12%. Okay. Democrats have already cut that to 9% this year as they've been making big gains in returns over the past few days. No telling where this will end up by Tuesday, and Democrats typically turn out in heavier numbers on election day. So a lot of evidence out there pointing to that blue wave rising here in Arizona.
We'll see what
it
happens.
is. I think Republicans, they were riding what they were calling the Kavanaugh wave. Yeah. But again, how many people show up to the polls to say thank you? A lot of people show up to the polls because they're angry.
And how many news cycles ago? I mean, it seems like 1,000 years ago at this point.
And they knew that right when that happened. Democrats were saying, yeah, they're going to get this Kavanaugh push, but come on, it's a month of this administration where it seems like every day there's a news story coming out of the White House.
And I will say this: the one caveat is Arizona is still a very Republican state. Republicans outnumber Democrats in voter registration, so they have the numbers. The question is how Democrats close that gap in the final days.
But then, I'm sorry to ask another question, but the latest NBC News Marist poll shows Kyrsten Sinema with a lead over McSally.
Yeah, and take that poll as viewers should take every poll, every single poll with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
If you look at that one poll, they underrepresented Republicans in that. They were a little light on that number. There was a poll by High Ground out the other day. It's a little more accurate, and that kind of shows neck and neck heading into these final days.
Yeah, margin of error always accounted for that as well. Dennis, thank you.